Hi, everyone. We are going to be talking about the Miles Circuit today and how the Miles Circuit can really positively influence baby's position in your womb in late pregnancy so you can have a smoother birthing experience, and how it can bring you some comfort and relaxation and just kind of take away some overall stress and anxiety in late pregnancy as you're approaching your due window and getting ready for baby to arrive. So, we are going to be doing a modified version of the Miles Circuit today. The Miles Circuit focuses on 3 movement patterns, each one being done for a 30-minute window. So the first one you do for 30 minutes, the second movement pattern we do for 30 minutes, and the third movement pattern we do for 30 minutes. However, today I'll just be showing you a small little excerpt, if you will, of those movements, and then you can do them on your own. Now, this is a private link, so you'll only have access to this if you have signed up for my newsletter. So make sure you read some of the other really great tips that I have in the newsletter that includes this link, which also includes a free guided meditation for birth prep done by me, Jessica, your birth bestie, Mama Shakti Prenatal. So for the Miles Circuit, what we will need are just a few props, a chair or a stool, which I have right here, and a soft surface or a yoga mat, a couple pillows, 2-3 pillows, and a folded blanket. So the first movement or position that we do in the Miles Circuit is called puppy pose, or it's kind of like a variation of puppy pose. And what that looks like is a lot of props to support your upper body, and your bottom is going to kind of stick up in the air. So what I recommend is having several pillows handy, 2, 3, maybe even 4 pillows, and you can do this on your bed also. And we're going to also likely need something to go under our knees in between our hamstrings and our calves. If this is not comfortable for you to sit as I am sitting, then you can roll up a blanket and put it in between your hamstrings and your calves, and that will provide some relief. So what we're going to do is support our body with these pillows. And I kind of build a shelf. So we have a little room for belly and baby to be supported on the lower pillow, and then the upper pillow is for our upper body. Now I'm going to show this to you and then break it down for you. Okay, so you might be thinking, how is that different than child's pose? And it's very similar. Puppy pose is just basically a variation of child's pose. Our knees are nice and wide, at least the width of our yoga mat. And then we have our upper body resting on this pillow, our baby bump resting on the lower pillow. And notice that my bum is up in the air. So if you come into this posture and you think, how in the heck am I going to be able to hold that for 30 minutes? If you can only do it for 10 or 15, you'll still be deriving a lot of benefit from the posture for 10 or 15 minutes, but use more pillows. So grab little pillows and put them in between your legs, put them under your thighs, support your belly as much as possible, maybe roll up another throw blanket and really get comfortable so you can rest into this for as long as you can. So it's recommended for 30 minutes, but if 10-15 minutes is all you've got in you, that's fine too. You're still, like I said, deriving a lot of benefit from that amount of time. So that is pose number 1 of the Miles Circuit. The next one that we work on is working on finding what is called an exaggerated side lying posture. Now this is much more comfortable if done on the bed, and again you will use a handful of pillows and a blanket to set yourself up. So what you're going to do here is have a pillow for underneath your head and a pillow or two for your leg, your top leg to drape over. And you might want to roll this blanket up to kind of put under your belly for a little bit of support. So this is what it looks like. I'll set it up and explain it. Okay, so what you'll notice here is this one's a lot easier to do for 30 minutes. However, you want to do one side for 15 minutes, and then I go ahead and switch it over to the other side for the second 15 minutes. So we want to build those pillows up so we can bring our leg all the way over them, and we have that one hip kind of hiked up, and we've got a nice rotation of this top hip up and over for that exaggerated side lying. 15 minutes on one side, 15 minutes on the other. Now, the last movement can be a combination of movements. And this one is, I find, much more accessible for a lot of people because you can play with a lot of different movements. We're working on creating asymmetry of the hips in this movement. So I'll show you two of my favorites that I like to practice with my clients. And the first one is a 45-degree lunge, but instead of having your legs both pointing in the same direction, I like to kind of pivot my back leg so it's at a 45, and then we kind of pivot that front leg out at a 45 also. So it looks like you're kind of taking almost like a lateral lunge, and we're working on finding that opening through the hip, but we're not going to go super deep into this lunge. So the knee can come about toward the edge of the toes, but we don't want it to come out too far past the toes because we don't want to cause any strain in our adductor muscles. So we work on finding just these lunging patterns, and you can even take it kind of more to the side if that feels like a better support for you. If that angle with your leg out like that feels a little funky on your knee, bring your foot a little more toward midline of your body and work on this motion instead. So you'll do that for a few minutes each side. You can also do, I have a chair here for support, low rocking squats. And if coming down really low is not working for you, stack those pillows up under your bum so you have a little bit of height, and you work on staying on the ball of your feet and just rocking your legs from side to side. The last one we work on is holding onto the wall and bringing our leg up onto the chair. Now, this is a higher chair, so you might want to work with something like a lower stool. And I don't have a block, but even a yoga block would be a good substitute, but I'll use my Corgus ball. So you're going to work on bringing your foot up to a block, a low stool, or a chair, and just work on kind of lunging and rocking into that. I'm going to show you on the bed because my bed's a little lower than my chair. So we're going to work on this movement pattern. All right, lunging gently into that, a few minutes on each side. And then lastly, I don't have it to demonstrate here, but side stepping up a flight of stairs is really good. So if you don't have stairs in your home, that's fine. You can also do this on a yoga block. Once again, you put the block under your foot and you just kind of work on hip hike movement. So allowing, let's say your right foot is up on the block, so you can kind of work on exaggerating that hip hike, letting your left hip hike all the way up and then lower all the way down to the ground, and then switching and doing the other side. So that is your Miles circuit. It's generally recommended that you start this around 36 to 37 weeks of pregnancy, and I suggest that my clients do this about 3 times a week. So I'm going to put this in my newsletter, this link, and I'm going to suggest 2 other practices that I love to say. If you do the Miles circuit, this guided meditation and this one other thing all together a few times a week, you're really going to increase your chances of having a birth experience that is a little smoother, a body that allows for descending of baby with a little more ease, and just an overall, generally, hopefully more positive experience for you. So remember, doulas can't guarantee birth outcomes, but we can try to do a lot of things to help prepare your body to unfold in a way that is beneficial to you and baby during the birthing process. So I hope you found this valuable. And if you're wanting more information about birth prep sessions, you can email me at info@mamashaktiprenatalyoga.com, and I'll put that email address in the description below. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a great evening.